30 minutes or so because we have a lot of stuff to talk about at our meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like for you to go ahead and get started, and because Mrs. Baucom, even though she's the only one here right now, teaches a lot of what we have here at the college. And if she's not teaching it, she has in the past.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Well, and since your time is so short today, what do you want to focus on? What are kind of your goals of what you're trying to get out of this demonstration day? Because I know you've seen this back in November.
So this is for virtual lab, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So I'm just asking, what are some key points since you've seen this? Or what are some points that you would like to highlight on during our time together today?
Well, I see that you have a health history one. What other ones do you have to choose from? What other kind of modules?
So I'll kind of show you a quick overview here. I'm not sure if you saw this last time. So here's going to be kind of an overview of all of our different assignments. Now, in terms of time condensing, definitely the health history is the best module to showcase a variety of different things, as well as the kind of the conversation engine that kind of is what makes Shadow Health so unique is kind of best displayed in the health history. We can also take a look at some concept labs as well as some focused exams. And then, like I said, since your time is valuable, I don't know if there's a particular direction you were kind of wanting to go, taking a look at any of these different these modules here.
So is it basically a fundamentals class is what you're looking at with these?
So it's kind of a variety. So this has actually found itself, some schools have a standalone health assessment course. Others incorporate physical and health assessment into their fundamentals course. So it varies by the school, but yes, this can very well find its way into a fundamentals.
Okay, so here's my question. We're going to do a physical assessment, health assessment course for the BSN completion program, but does this lend itself more to a fundamentals introductory to nursing, or is it more of a real focused physical assessment, health history on a higher level, like a 300 or 400 course versus a 100 course?
So it really kind of depends on, I guess, how advanced the 300 to 400 course is, honestly. So with the 100 course, this is definitely meant, the undergraduate is definitely meant for a new introductory nursing student. Now, that's not to say that they wouldn't, obviously 300 to 400 students wouldn't get anything out of doing this. They might have a better concept of some of the introductory things like, documentation and clinical reasoning. These might be things that they may not have a complete grasp on, even though they're familiar with it. So definitely, even though the skill levels vary, this is probably something that holds true beneficial for all of them.
Okay, so it's basically a fundamental course. So, okay, is there any other modules besides assessment, health assessment, and physical assessment?
So in this particular one, you're going to be doing, like I mentioned, you're going to have a patient interview and the physical exams on the left side. The focus exams are going to be working with we're going to be working with the chief complaint and multiple body systems. So most of it does center around the physical exam.
Okay, so it's all just a physical assessment. You have no other ones, so you don't have something for pharmacology, you don't have anything for psych or anything like that. We're just basic physical assessment for the fundamental student, right?
So we do have a pharmacology module. So we do have a pharmacology. We don't have a psych yet. I know that's one of our most popularly requested ones, but right now we don't have that as of yet because a variety of
reasons. Have you seen the sure path that Bob just rolled out for the fundamentals?
I'm sorry, you broke up there. What were you saying?
Have you seen the sure path that Evolve just rolled out for the fundamentals?
I have not, no ma'am.
Because they've got the same looking people that talk as well. So that's sort of funny because it seems like you guys have got the same thing coming out at the same time.
The same model.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like the same lady, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So
yeah.
I
was
interested in,
ours actually started about 4 years ago is actually when this concept came around. So kind of a little quick backstory into Shadow Health. What we've done is as computer scientists at the University of Florida, they came up with it, and they started with a very simple question is, can we help people become better at their skills by giving them an opportunity to practice in a virtual environment? And what you're seeing here is a product of that question. So this came out about 4 years ago as when we launched our graduate, and then in 2013 our undergraduate. So we've been about 3.5, 4 years now, and the reception has been tremendous. We're actually in over 850 nursing schools as we speak, and that number is growing every day. So there definitely is quite a bit of history and research that went into this product. and that kind of has created what you see in front of you today. Now, since you guys have kind of said your time is a little bit limited, I'll kind of go through everything in a little bit more of a bridge version. And then if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me anytime, all right?
Sounds good.
All right, perfect. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Now, you said that your associate who's there, is she the fundamentals instructor?
No, the fundamentals, Liz is here now, she just came in, so she can probably talk to you more. I mean, I think it's really up to her, because I don't teach it any longer, but the point is, we hate going all over different companies when we can keep people into a certain thing, so I guess I don't know about Liz, she can speak to this.
I don't know. I mean,
What makes this better than the sure path or whatever?
We already have.
No.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's kind of a great question, and actually to answer that, I'm going to pull up our main exam here. So this is, we're going to go in and you're going to meet someone you're probably somewhat familiar with Miss Tina Jones. So what makes Shadow Health so unique is it's based off of a conversation answer. So one of the things that students are going to be able to do when they enter these modules is that they're going to be engaging with each of our patients. Now, each one of our patients can answer over 250,000 medically relevant questions. So students are really going to have a wide variety of what they can ask. Now, unlike a lot of things that you're going to see, whether it's with Elsevier, API, or different technologies, most of them come with drop-down menus, which is going to have a prompt of questions that students can pick from to ask. And while there's nothing wrong with that, this takes that concept to the next level in that students are formulating their own questions now that they're going to be asking Ms. Jones as well as our other patients. So you'll see here on the menu here, and let me know if for whatever reason you can't see my screen, but you're going to see there's a safety tutorial there. And when students enter this module, they're actually going to have the option to go through this tutorial. Now, obviously, being nursing professionals, you all don't need the safety tutorial, so we'll just go ahead and dismiss that. But that is an option that your students will have. Now, the tutorial would have told us all about safety and privacy. So one of the things students have to do when they enter, obviously, is something as obvious as close the nursing curtain. So we'll go ahead and we're going to greet our patient.
Hi.
And let me know if you can hear her audio as well, if you couldn't hear her for whatever reason. All right, so we'll go ahead and ask her.
I got this scrape on my foot a while ago, and it got really infected. It's killing me.
Did you hurt your foot?
I was changing a light bulb, and I had to use a little step stool to reach it. My foot slid off the bottom step, and it got all scraped up. I didn't realize how sharp the edge was.
Okay, perfect. So now just by asking a couple of questions, we've already been able to uncover what her chief complaint is. Now I'm going to kind of open up the floor to you guys, especially since your time is a little bit limited today, to be able to ask any questions that you want to Ms. Jones. So just with that basic information, what might be a follow-up question you might would ask as a student?
Yeah, ask her some.
Ask her if she's a diabetic, since she hurt her toe.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I was diagnosed a few years ago.
Perfect. So you've already uncovered something else incredibly important about how you're going to be treating this diagnosis. Now, I'll kind of show you the documentation aspect of it, because that's something else that's really unique. So here we've already established a chief complaint. Now, a question that also might be a good follow-up question to ask her, and you can see the whole transcript here. But a good follow-up question to ask her regarding her foot pain is, which foot was it? So we'll go ahead and ask that here.
My right foot.
So we can actually document. So right there, we've already discovered, and your students are actually going to be able to document as they go through here. And you can see as I'm scrolling through, and let me know if I'm scrolling too fast. But you can see as I'm scrolling through here, you're able to see just how many things your students are actually able to document. So they're really going to have the opportunity to dive in with these patients. So the complexity and the depth of these patients is really a unique feature that Shadow Health offers in terms of how deep they can go and how many questions that they're able to ask them. So following up on that diabetic, what might be a follow-up question you would ask for Ms. Jones concerning her diabetes?
Is it controlled?
The control.
What was your last A1C?
I'm sorry, what was that one?
What was your last A1C?
You said A1C?
Yeah.
All right, so you can see this is actually a great example of what a clarification is. So it may not have been vivid enough, or it may not be in her vocabulary. Now, even though she's able to answer over 250,000 questions, these are kind of the next best options, what was your master. We'll want to rephrase the question. So what was the first, there was a first question before you asked that one. What was that one? What I think it was something with control.
Yeah. Is your diabetes controlled? This is not real accurate, but we'll ask it.
It can be hard, but I feel like my diabetes is pretty under control now.
So you can see once you get a little more specified, she is able to answer the question. And the nice thing is it does provide your students the clarification option, but also kind of like in the real world, a patient may question you if what you asked is a little bit vague or they didn't understand. They're still going to be doing that here, and the students are going to have to think about how they can reword their questions, just like to Miss Jones to understand, just like they would in the real world.
Well, that tells
go
the
ahead.
same, that's her opinion. So how about what was your last fasting blood sugar? Maybe that might be in there.
What was the second part? What was your last?
Last fasting blood sugar.
Fasting. Let's go ahead.
I don't know the number. The ER nurse just said it was high. Honestly, I have trouble figuring out what the numbers mean.
So you can see that she knows that she has a diabetes, but she's not measuring it. So obviously that would be a reason for concern as you're going through the module here.
So she said it was controlled, and then she said it was too high.
Now we could also specify you do to control.
I try to stay active and avoid sugar, and that seems to be working well. I feel better now than when I was taking diabetes medication.
So right there, we discovered that her version of control is not taking her medication. So that obviously changes the entire way that we address her situation. Now in the toolbar here, you're actually going to be able to see a couple of different tabs. You're going to be able to see you're going to be able to empathize with your patient, as if you were to say, I'm sorry that you came in with a cut on your foot, or more importantly, you'll be able to educate her about the importance of taking her diabetes medication. Now, you as faculty will actually be able to track all of that on this transcript here. So you'll be able to see what questions your students are asking as they're going through. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll go ahead. Let me see. Now, you still have the 3 faculty in the room. Is that still correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. If any of you ladies have any questions for me at any time, feel free to interrupt me. We're definitely here for you guys.
Okay.
I had a question.
Oh, absolutely.
Since the fundamentals students are brain teaching nursing, and they may not even have an idea of where to direct these questions, what if they're just like asking all this stuff and not getting to a point? Is there something to redirect them or guide them to what they should be asking about?
And that's a great question. So going back over here, you're actually going to be able to see there is going to be an orientation. There's an orientation process, and actually this one may not be the best one to take a look at. Let me go ahead and go back here. Let me return to this assignment. So this will kind of give you a good idea of what the assignment overview. So right here, the digital clinical experience orientation. So you're actually going to be able to go through an orientation with Tino Jones, and it will explain kind of how the process of going about interviewing our digital patients are. Because exactly, you're right. For a lot of these introductory students, they've never interviewed a patient before, and this whole concept of interviewing a digital patient is still relatively new. In fact, Shadow Health is really the only company that's been able to create this digital clinical experience in terms of interviewing with these patients. So students will be able to familiarize yourself with everything in this digital clinical orientation here. And that would be obviously before they move on to health history, which is what we're in right now, or HENT or any of the other exams in there. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just picturing, worst case scenario, I have 30 students and I have to go through all these transcripts of their discussions with these patients, and they're just way off base about what I even want them to ask, So I didn't know, especially brand new student to nursing, to a nursing program, it doesn't seem like there's enough guidance, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I'll actually show you too. I'll kind of give you a little bit of insight into the back end. Let me pull this up here. So this is actually going to be what your students will get at the end of their module. And I know we've kind of skipped ahead a little bit, but maybe on our time shortage is probably a good option. But you're going to be able to see here just an idea of what your students would get afterwards. So we're going to have the Students Performance Index, and this is their Shadow Health grade. So they got a 43.7% of the findings correct. Now you can see we also have included the national average score for Shadow Health physical clinical experience. So you can see right here, the national score is 43%. So this student ended up right about the middle.
Where did that come from?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry?
40%. Where did that come from?
So we take the average of every school that in Shadow Health database, and we take the averages of all the students' first assignments to create that. So this is actually done by all 850 nursing schools that use Shadow Health to create that 43%.
I don't get where the score came from.
Like, is that out of 100% they could score?
Oh, so yes. So I'll give a little bit more clarification. So students are going to be graded on, well, basically what their findings were. So I'll kind of take you through what that grading entails. So you're going to be able to see here, they got 26 out of 70 possible points here, which is 36.1% of the students they were supposed to find. So this student, for example, they did establish the chief complaint. They were able to ask them to rate their pain on a scale. They asked for details about the pain, and you can see what they did and they did not ask for. So that's going to be what part of the ranking is based on. Also, the objective data collection. What did they ask? What did they not ask? So you can see they did a little bit better job on the objective data collection rather than the subjective data collection.
Is it automatically graded what they typed in, or is that the instructor going in and giving a grade, or looking at what they've done?
Mm-hmm. So it is automatic. So Shadow Health will automatically grade that. Now the professors are able to go in individually, and you are able to go in and not essentially regrade them, but kind of add your own spin on it. So let's say that your student gets a 43%, but you wanted to weigh the objective data collection more than you did the subjective data collection. You have complete power in terms of how you want to cater this grading system, because what is not included in that automatic grading is things like self-reflection. So students are actually going to have the opportunity to self-reflect at the end of their learning module. They'll be able to go through and they're going to be able to kind of sit down and think of, what did I do right? I mean, you can see the questions here, how would you apply what you've learned in this assignment to your professional nursing practice? You are able to grade opportunities like these or have them ungraded as your students are trying to kind of comprehend what they just did and tell you why they used the processes they just used to get to their end result. So you're going to be able to kind of grade that as well as this hallway conversation. So you're going to be able to see your student's interaction with another nursing professional. So you can kind of see here, that's going to take you through a couple of different scenarios here. I don't know if that answered your question at all.
Yeah, I just didn't know where that number came from. That's fine.
Yeah, we didn't know where the number came from. My question is, how long does it figure that a student would take to go through this particular health assessment?
So let me pull up this back again. So right here, the first one, you can see that the 95 minutes, again, is a national average based on all the students who have completed this module. Now you can see the time decreases every time, so or from the original, I meant to say. So it's 95 minutes at the very beginning module, and then it will go down to 75 minutes as the students become more equipped and more aware of what they're looking for and what questions they need to be asking Tina. So they are going to be able to go through and kind of get a little bit more proficient. That time will be cut down. But right up on the left-hand side of the screen will kind of give you an idea. This 95-minute mark is kind of an average mark. And then over here, you can kind of see 60 minutes as an average for some of our focus exams.
Can they start and stop, or do they have to finish the whole thing?
They definitely can start and stop. It will keep track of your progress, so they can start and stop. Usually, most faculty what they'll do is they'll set a deadline, and then they'll kind of be able to let their students perform at their own pace. But it does have to be submitted. So you could, for example, you could ask all these great questions, but if you don't end your exam with her, it won't log it. So you obviously do have to finish logging your exam. So kind of like where we are here, we're in the middle of our exam. This technically isn't over yet. So we would ask to end exam. We'll go ahead and end exam. So this
Now
is
you will
actually,
use
we'll
the
go
data
ahead
you
and leave
collected
her, but she's going over the
The
information
first step is to
processing
review
aspect of it. So your students actually will be able to kind of follow up on that electronic health record that I mentioned earlier. And they'll be able to go through for TINA, for example, and they're going to be able to look at what the data they've collected, click on it, and kind of decide what category this falls out of, and then be able to make a plan based on that. So prioritize the health, for example. So
Do you have an
students
OB?
will be able to.
Do you have an OB
Oh, I'm sorry?
module? Do you have an
We
obstetrical-
don't. We don't have an OB module yet. I know that's something that we're definitely working towards right now. And then possibly very well in the future could have one. But right now we don't have an OB patient.
So this is the module you have, other than a pharmacology module.
So, it does differ in the focus exam. So I'll pull up, for example, I'll go into what I was in earlier, which is a focus exam cough with Danny. So this is a different scenario, different problems. For example, this one is an 8-year-old Latino boy, and he is in the nursing exam as he's going to be in the school nursing lab as a boy with a cough. So as this loads, you'll be able to kind of see some of the differences in this one. So the EHR will look a little bit different because we're not establishing primary care anymore, as well as the patient will be a little bit different. So while the concept is the same, you will be investigating different things. So it necessarily won't be the same foot wound, it won't be the same patient. You will be getting a variety, even though it does cover the health assessment portion primarily.
Your patients.
Now, do you sell this as a package, or is it one cost for the all of it, or how do you price this out?
Mm-hmm. So that's a great question. So it's $99 per student, and you get lifetime access with that. So your students will be able to purchase this one time, and let's say, for example, you look at this back, and I'll take you back here to kind of just get a good overview of everything. You want to take concepts of this and sprinkle it, whether it's in your introductory health assessment course, and then put some of the concepts in fundamentals. You're able to do that because your students pay for this once, and they retain lifetime access. So the faculty, like yourself, will actually have a faculty account, and they'll have all the faculty training and support that they need free of charge. There's no institutional fee associated with it. The student will face the $99 cost once. But as a fellow student, I can tell you that would be a bargain on most of the textbooks I pay right now. So the nice thing is they are, especially if you're able to diversify and sprinkle aspects of this into different classes, it can be very beneficial for the students in terms of maximizing bang for their buck.
Now, is the pharmacology module another module? It's another $99?
It is. So now if, for example, if it's another $99, it's a completely separate program. So the patients are going to be different. They're going to be exhibiting different signs, and they're going to be focusing on different things. So yes, that would be a separate $99.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any questions?
I do not. I'm not sure that this is right for us at this point. Just because we have some other things that we're using.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure that really this is something that we're ready to use at this point. Maybe if you get some more modules and things like that where you can expand a little bit more. Because right now you feel very limited with what you have to offer with this. And honestly, with the amount of questions and things that have to be done, seems to me like there's a lot of things you can do with it. You can spend a whole day in this if you want to, which would be very consuming for the students. How do you feel, Liz? Yeah, and grading?
I just think for, especially with this fall, having students come right out of high school, no previous experience, right? I just think they would just be lost about how to direct their questions. So I just don't think I think that the level of students that I'll have will need a little bit more guidance.
I think that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
No, absolutely, and there's definitely some merit in those concerns for sure. And that's kind of, like I said, that's kind of what the benefit of going through that orientation is that the students really are able to, especially this is really meant for introductory students coming out of high school. Because, like you said, going into an environment where they're having to interview a patient for the first time can be overwhelming, and information overload in particular tends to be a very common.
But that's a skill that I would use maybe at the very end of my entire course. So I don't see it being beneficial for, you know, the entire semester until I've already gone over all of these assessments, like how to just do the basics and what the terms mean. So, I mean, I could see this as a final thing, but I would not use it repeatedly through a course, and I wouldn't ask them to pay more money for, you know, resource we already have that could do similar things.
Absolutely. No, and I completely understand. So, and typically, how does your health assessment course break down? I mean, like, when you all typically offer either health assessment or fundamentals, when you typically teach that?
No, I teach fundamentals, and so we cover health.
Yeah, it's in fundamentals.
But I mean, a head-to-toe assessment is our final skill, you know, and that involves, you know, closer to about when we do a head-to-toe, we start doing patient history and how to do a patient exam or interview, both, I guess, together. That's at the end of our semester, and then we're in the nursing home. So, like I said, I just feel like that would be something that wouldn't be appropriate until the end of the semester, and I would use it, you know, just that week or two.
Mm-hmm. Now, what does the beginning of your fundamentals course typically look like in terms of like what you all are going through?
Like how to check for pulses and how to check a blood pressure and what that means and how to listen to respirations, like basic skills.
Mm-hmm.
How to touch people, how to talk to people.
Yeah, and then, you know, and then we, you know, go through
stupid, but...
wound care and it includes bathing and, you know, I mean, so just skills.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. No, and that definitely, it sounds like the first part of your course is kind of more didactic than a clinical approach to it, from what I'm understanding. So what other? So you typically now fundamentals is typically taught after health assessment then, or physical assessment?
Nope, it's all taught together, and it's physical assessments taught during fundamentals, but basically culminate in a head-to-toe assessment at the end of the class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Any other questions for him?
No, good.
No. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time to show us this today. If there's any questions or anybody would like to investigate further, I will give you a call.
Okay, perfect. Well, it would be maybe a good time to follow up with you and see if there were any questions or concerns that you all had?
Probably early next week would be fine.
Okay, give you a call early next week. Was there a particular day of the week that works best for you?
Nope, they're all similarly crazy.
Okay, perfect. So maybe Monday or Tuesday then?
That's fine.
Okay, perfect. I will give you a call sometime either Monday or Tuesday then.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.